Hi, Richard Smith here from the Finance Zone. Today I want to talk to you about pensions advice and pensions advisors here in the UK, and this particular video really only applies to you if you have UK or UK-based pensions. In 2010, the Financial Services Authority promised change, and we're now in 2011, and in all fairness, not much has changed. In 2010, the BBC exposed pension robbery in relation to a good number of high street firms that were charging over and above what they needed to manage your pension. And in all fairness, we on this side of the industry was expecting a great deal of change, but the reality is not much has changed. For those of you who don't know about me, I run several websites. One is thefinanцezone.co.uk and one is PensionAdviser.co.uk. On both those sites you'll be able to see some of the information, some of the rants I've had about some of the things that have gone on in the financial services industry, which in all fairness do nothing to enhance your relationship as a consumer with the businesses that are supposedly providing you with levels of service. But let's just talk about pensions, for example, today. Because UK pensions are a disgrace, and in terms of how I know they're a disgrace, I've worked for some organisations in the past, like the likes of the Nationwide, the likes of the Prudential Insurance Company, the likes of NatWest, to name but a few, both as a financial advisor and also as administrators within one of those organisations. And after 22 years of providing financial advice, I'm now telling the truth about UK pensions and personal pensions, purely because we've not been able to do it before. As an independent financial advisor, as a regulated advisor, it is terribly difficult to be able to really tell the truth, because anything you say and do is monitored and checked by the regulator, which is a damning indictment really on the industry. But look, the reason for this now is UK pensions are not getting better. Final salary schemes are being withdrawn. There are changes to the state pension scheme, and we've also got the introduction of new schemes, which is going to be called Nest, which is rolling out with effect from 2013. We've also got issues around the withdrawal of tax relief, which is happening over the next tax year, so that for higher rate taxpayers there's going to be a restriction of relief. More importantly, the limits you can pay into a pension are being substantially reduced. We've also got the issues, which I think is a fundamental, of pension scheme charges. And these are the charges that are levied on you by the schemes that manage your pension, which are just outrageous. And indeed, that was something the BBC uncovered last year, which seems to have fallen on deaf ears, apart from a handful of people in the industry like myself. There's also the issue of closed providers. These are providers that used to be active companies, but are now closed to new business, which means that for a lot of UK pension holders, your pensions are just stagnating within a pot which is doing nothing, and obviously has quite a high level of charges levied to it. And what now? Well, the reality is, and what I'm trying to do here, is to educate and encourage you as consumers and owners of personal pension plans, is to get a grip and have a look at some of these pension schemes and start to review, amend, and adapt them so that they actually start to benefit you rather than benefit everybody else. The FSA, the Financial Services Authority, does it really care? Well, the FSA has started to carry out some reviews and start to find some of these providers and independent financial advisors that are really providing pretty poor advice. And indeed here, this is a slide from the FSA website, that indeed in 2008 it had started to take some action to address pension transfer advice failings, and there has been some very heavy fines meted out. But the bottom line is, there's still lots of pension transfer business going on. This is transferring from one pension provider to another without any real justification, without any real understanding by the advisors of what they're doing. And this applies to both bank and building society advisors, other type advisors in the high street, and it certainly applies to a good number of the firms that you'll come across when you start to look for pension advice. Does the FSA really care? Well, it's a big problem. There's a hell of a lot of pension transfer stuff been done over the past couple of years, where insurers and individuals and independent financial advisors have moved pensions from one provider to another with no real justification, and it's something that the Financial Services Authority is really keen to get a grip on. More and more firms are being affected out there. There are now a good number of organisations that are having to review past business, which is vitally important for you. If you received any pension transfer advice, it's vitally important that you start knocking on doors now and rattling cages, because you really do need your pensions reviewed. And fines are being levied. The problem is it doesn't solve the real problem. The real problem is that if you've got a UK personal pension with any of the major UK organisations, there is a very, very good chance that you're paying more in charges than you need to. And this is where we come from, because we provide a range of services and products for individuals. We don't sell products, we haven't got an axe to grind, but we are able to provide you with the advice and the guidance you need, or at least give you the tools and information in order to be able to make your own decisions about what you should be doing. And the people that it applies to in particular are those people that have received pension transfer advice, they have personal pensions, or they've got pension income drawdown plans where they've got to retirement and have transferred the plan into a pension income drawdown plan, because these contracts in all fairness are pretty horrific and very often, and we're finding that the people we're speaking to really don't understand what it is they've got. More importantly, if you've got a pension with a closed pension provider, there's a list of these on the website, which is www.thefinancezone.co.uk. But if you've got pensions with the likes of National Provident Institution, the Pearl and Abbey Life, to name but a few, there's a real opportunity now for you to start benefiting yourself by making moves and alterations to your pensions rather than leaving it with these. So what should you do now? Well, if you've received advice about pension transfers from an independent financial advisor, if you've received advice about pension transfers from a bank and building society advisor, there is a good chance that some of that advice you've had would have been substantially flawed. More importantly, if you want to make a formal complaint, the Ombudsman are taking years to sort this stuff out. We've had complaints which we've helped clients submit to the Ombudsman, which are taking 18 months in order to get resolved, which is just outrageous, which is why it's vitally important that you get the guidance you need with these things. More importantly, you need to be putting yourself first. You need to be putting yourself in charge of your own pension rather than leaving to the fate of some of these organisations and advisors out there. You need to be reducing your charges within your pension plans and your other investments and making your own decisions. We're giving you the tools to be able to empower yourselves to be able to do that, and the training and the education you need in order to make this very, very straightforward. My name is Richard Smith. I'm one part of a business called the Finance Zone. You can also find our specific pension pages at Be Your Own Pension Advisor. You must take action on this issue now. You must get your pension plans reviewed. You must update, adapt and alter accordingly. You absolutely must consider your future pension plans very carefully in light of the changes that are coming up with in relation to government schemes. I'll be doing more and more on this very shortly. And you must make sure you get advice where there is no bias, which means you may have to pay a fee for the advice, and indeed we do offer a service where we can provide you with that guidance for a very fixed fee. The bottom line is you must absolutely act on this now. There's no point in leaving this until next year or the year after. You must absolutely start to make some changes to your pension plans if you're looking forward to a reasonable retirement with a pretty competitively charged contract. Also, and I think it's vitally important, if you are currently drawing on your pension via a pension income drawdown plan, it's vitally important that you take advice. My name is Richard Smith. I'm one part of a business called the Finance Zone. Thank you very, very much for listening to me.